Last night I had trouble sleeping. I sort of had that fear thing going on in my heart when I was falling asleep. So at some point I got up and I put my heart rate monitor chest strap on. And I also listened to a song on repeat that I edited, which I made into a little bit of a remix of Foggy's Come Into My Dream. And for some reason, that combination helps me sleep. It's a lot better than taking a pill of some sort. And I also got up and took 2 more of the Hardy Nutritionals amino acid caps. I take 6 before I go to bed, and I wasn't sleeping, so I took 2 more. And I did fall asleep. I didn't have as long of a sleep, I don't think, but sleeping 6 or 7 hours is plenty. And this morning, I've been reading the book Swarm Intelligence and writing a few things about creativity. I feel some of what I've been bumping up against these last days is wanting to live creatively, but facing the reality of living in a room in a basement suite with family. And that feels like a contraction. And yet at the same time, I probably could create my way out of that really quickly by, say, putting some affiliate links on my videos and sharing them all publicly at once right now, seeing what happens and just wandering off into the unknown. But that would make me appear really crazy. And I'd likely get captured and sabotage everything that I'm attempting to create in a somewhat intelligent way. I don't know if it is intelligent, only time and creating it will tell. Because the line I'm going along creating is continuing to do a bit more in peer support for the next month, then starting the business class, hopefully, and doing that for 2.5 months, and then launching a business. And then if I do take off, make that trip part of the business launch, or having a business that's online, then I can take off on a trip. Because it seems like there's energy from my situation and family that is going to create me living in a basement suite with family for a while. And that's okay. It seems like that is the image in the mind of my family. And so to me, that feels like I could see that as a bad thing. I could see that as, oh, I'm going to be stuck in a basement suite, or I can feel like, well, that's a good thing. I can have my stuff in a basement suite in a family member's house and go live my creative, happy, magical lifestyle without having my stuff in storage or having it in a suite somewhere that is less secure and, more expensive because it's not with family. So, yeah, so it's actually a good thing, but it just kind of feels like a crush of my dream to live this expansive, different way of living and eventually co-create a creative respite for people. So realizing rationally that my family members don't see that, and even though I see that as what I'm envisioning and creating for my life, they probably see my life as living in a basement, barely getting by, which that trajectory might be happening at the same time as the trajectory of the possibility of my stuff being in a basement suite somewhere and not really bothering about my stuff, but having my magical backpack, going on the magical journey, which they don't know that I'm planning that. They don't know my mind. But I can see this adjacent trajectory, and I can see that if I resist that or feel angry about that for some reason, then I'm going to create more of the me that's angry at that, which I don't even know what they're thinking or who's thinking what and who cares. But that actually could be exactly what I need, is just a place to have my crap. And I don't even need that stuff, but I'm feeling like some of it could provide ideas and creativity. I've collected a lot of resources and tools that could be good as a start for the respite when it gets started somewhere. Which also could start from scratch, but I don't know about that. So it seems like it's not good, but at the same time, it's probably perfect. But it's feeling like they don't see what I see. They don't see what I'm envisioning. Of course they don't, right? Of course people don't. But then as soon as I feel that way, then I start getting mad. Then if I have that energy, then when I'm interacting with them and with people, I might be angry. And that anger is the seeing that they don't see what I see. But then that's part of what happens in this progression of ego inflation, is they don't see what I'm saying, they don't see what I'm creating, they don't see what I'm doing, which can be turned into more ego. Like, I'm doing something so wonderful and they don't see it. Why don't they see it? Why aren't they helping me with this? Why aren't they, which turns into more me, which then blocks the creativity, which prevents the vision from being created. So the vision not being created becomes a self-fulfilling, self-expanding, creativity collapsing process. And that's often what happens. And then in the process of trying to create something, but that energy being funneled into the anger of the ego, that becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy of, I'm this me, this person with this mood disorder, because the mood comes from others around not seeing the creativity and what is being created and what is wanting to manifest, and people around seeming like blocks to that. So I could see this trajectory of, when I do have some space to myself, it'll be in the basement of family members' houses. That is so limiting and bad, but it could be perfect to put my stuff there and be able to take off and not have responsibility of a place of some other kind. Because I do want to go on a trip of some kind for a year or however long, which will help find a place that maybe I want to create a respite. So I'm seeing that process happening a little bit. And then that creates people acting differently towards me because they can pick up on that energy too. It's all one relationship. So if my relationship to them, to other people, is this anger at not seeing what is being created, when obviously they can't see it. Nobody can see what anyone's envisioning inside, really. So getting mad at that is ridiculous. So then that's part of why I was sitting here reading and writing, because when I don't have space to myself here, I can't really talk to myself because people can hear what I'm saying, and to be in here talking to myself all the time, people might be wondering what's going on, which is fine. So that's one of the reasons why I was reading and writing, and I was thinking, well, I could read books and extrapolate them and write a book. And as soon as I got back into that mode of creating something, then that energy of feeling stuck was gone. Because feeling stuck and being angry about it isn't how to create one's way out of it. So the situation I'm in right now, I have to create my way out of it. Just like I've created my way out of the mental health system. It's not going to happen by default. Default is the current society. Creativity is not default. Default is the ego self. So wallowing in that is going to create more default, which will enhance the trajectory of default being created, which is creative energy being warped into a personal mental illness, when it has nothing to do with the person. It's impersonal. So yeah, seeing how I can impersonally create in the situation that I'm in is seemingly the way to go. The energy last night, that heart stuff, was distressing for sure. But again, this affirmation of sorts of saying, don't make it about me. Don't make this energy about the me. Sure, there's energy in the body. As long as I sleep, it's not a problem. And if I'm afraid of it, the fear, or naming that energy fear, is what brings in the me, because it's the me that is afraid of something that it's projecting onto the moment. As far as the body's concerned, it's a bit of a heart palpitation or skipping a beat. It was weird though. The one time my heart was beating, it felt like when I opened my eyes, I was going into another reality, sort of like if there was a wall of water, stepping through it. It felt like it was matter